on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am, that means you're new. I'm Mark. What's good with y'all? Go check out my other videos. Check them out. Check them out. But first, stay on this one. I told y'all I was going to get one done today. I told y'all I was going to get one done today. You know, maybe I might get more. Who knows? But no more being around the bush. You saw the thumbnail. You read the title. Almost got them confused there. Almost slipped up. You almost got me slipping. But you saw the title. You read the thumbnail. Damn it, I did slip up. You saw, whatever. You guys get the point of the video. 3 qualities to look for when deciding your concealed carry firearm. Now, some people might be wondering, well, are you sure there's only really 3 qualities that you need to look for? No, there's more. I mean, realistically, there is a good bit more, that you would want to look for. But if you're just starting out, these are the 3 main things that you want to look for when deciding what gun to get. Now, for starters, we're going to start with something very, very simple. Capacity. Some of y'all might be wondering, what is a good capacity for concealed carry? I personally believe if it can hold 10 plus 1, that's an okay capacity for concealed carry. I feel that's okay enough that it's like, hey, if I really need more ammo, carry an extra magazine. If I don't think I'm going to need more ammo, whatever. Do I recommend you carry an extra mag? Yes, always, but that's besides the point. You're talking to somebody who has like 80 rounds on him while I'm at work. I mean, but regardless, capacity is extremely important. A lot of people, when they conceal carry, they want to go for something, smaller. They want to, some of them might be looking for revolvers. In the end, you're just screwing yourself over by not having enough rounds to stop the threat. I mean, look, here's what I can also say. You guys have heard me say this several times on the channel. I've never heard somebody say, man, I wish I didn't have so much ammo when I was in that gunfight. I've never heard anybody say that before, ever in my life, because no one has ever said it. No one who has been in a gunfight has said, oh, yeah, well, I needed less ammo. I shouldn't have had that much. What? That's just not true. That's just never going to happen. If anything, you hear the exact opposite. You hear people who have been in gunfights saying, man, I wish I had more ammo. You see what I mean? That's what you're more likely to hear. So therefore, you at least, when you're deciding your concealed carry firearm, want a gun that has a solid capacity. It doesn't have to be super high. It doesn't have to be, a 20-round capacity or anything like that. But at least a 10 plus 1. You don't want to run out of ammo too quickly. You want to make sure that you can adequately defend yourself. Moving on from number 1, which is capacity. Number 2, caliber. And I will say, number 2 and number 3 kind of do go hand in hand. You guys will see what I mean. Depending what caliber you're choosing, you either are looking at being able to control every single shot or not being able to control any. I mean, it's such a big deal that you know what caliber that you want to actually train with and you want to use to protect yourself. Some people are like, oh, well, I train with, my 9mm, but I actually carry around a 40 or a 45. That's not a great idea. Why would you train with a lighter recoil gun instead of the gun that you actually carry around? When you choose what caliber that you choose for your concealed carry gun, you're essentially bringing all 3 of the points that I'm making in this video together at once, because based off what caliber you get kind of affects the capacity you get. For example, if you have, if let's say you choose for your concealed carry gun to be chambered in 45 ACP, you're not going to get anywhere near as many rounds as a 9mm would. Or, I mean, even if you do have as many rounds, that 9mm gun is a lot smaller. I mean, there's so many downsides based off what caliber you can pick. This is why it's important to find a good enough caliber that you feel comfortable enough with it. You feel like, hey, I know how to adequately defend myself with it. And you know that you're not going to run out of ammo so quickly. It's just, all of these really go hand in hand. I know I'm making it seem like number 2 and number 3 really go hand in hand the most, but all 3 of them really do, because in the end, you have to take into account all 3 of these things, plus more actually, when you're really trying to decide a good concealed carry firearm. Caliber choice makes the difference between follow-up shots either being on target or hitting somebody else possibly. I mean, if you can't handle the recoil of certain calibers, you might need to downsize. Now, am I telling people to go and get themselves a 22 LR gun for their, their concealed carry because, hey, you're going to be able to control the recoil on that. Your follow-up shots are going to be good on that. No, not at all. I've stated so many times that 22 LR is just not a viable self-defense round. It's better than nothing, sure, but it's not a viable self-defense round. It's one of the few rounds where when you talk about stopping power, there's an actual reason to talking about it. 9 mil, 40, 45, there's really no need to talk about stopping power with them because one, all those perform around the same. 40 just barely outperforms 9 mil and 45, just barely. But in the end, those all generally speaking have around the same amount of stopping power, whether people want to admit it or not. We got to remember, we are still talking about handgun rounds. We're not talking about rifle rounds or shotgun rounds where it's, one stop, one hit and they're done. That's it. That's probably not going to happen with handgun rounds, but that's definitely not going to happen with 22 LR. I hate to break it to you guys. So there's several reasons why choosing a good caliber is so important. It affects the capacity you have. It affects your shootability of the gun. It overall affects your experience with the gun and the amount of time you'll spend training on it, because truth be told, nobody wants to train with a gun that they don't like to shoot. Now, moving on to number three. Number three, I kind of touched on, kind of didn't, is the size of the gun. There's a couple reasons why this is important to think about, what size of gun you want to carry. So when I'm at work, I carry a full-size 9mm. When I say full size, I mean I'm carrying my dagger with me at work, guys. You know what I mean? It's a full size 9mm. When I'm out and about on my everyday carry, though, I probably am not going to be carrying my dagger with me. I'll probably carry something smaller. Not, I might carry my G2C. I might carry my Glock 23, depending on the day. Who knows? But in the end, I'm not choosing a gun that's full size. Why is that? Is because of the fact that I do want some level of comfortability while carrying. Now, let me start by saying this. Concealed carrying just isn't going to be that comfortable, guys. It's really not. If you're really trying to carry a gun that you think is going to be used to protect your life, it's not going to be super comfortable. That's just the truth of the matter here. Would I recommend you go for the smallest gun possible so that way it's as comfortable as can be? No, I wouldn't do that either. In the end, I'm about to explain why I wouldn't do that as well. But in the end, you need to go for more so a middle ground when it comes to the size of the gun. The reason why I say that is because you need to be able to shoot the gun accurately still, which size of the gun does affect that. Now, another thing too, once again, as I mentioned, they all go hand in hand here. The size of the gun is also going to affect the capacity. I mean, it's not like you're going to look at a Ruger LCP and think, oh, yeah, well, that clearly holds 25 rounds. No one's going to think that because it's way too small to hold that many rounds in the standard magazine. Size affects a lot of different things. I know a lot of people on the internet like to argue size doesn't matter. Believe me, it does. All I'm going to say, though, is simply if you have too small of a gun, you're not going to be able to shoot it that well. If you have too large of a gun, it's just going to be completely uncomfortable for you. You're going to need to find what's comfortable for you when it comes to size. In the end, it's not like I'm going to go out of my way to say, oh, you need to get this size gun and this caliber has this capacity. I'm not going to tell you to do that because you guys are your own people. What I will tell you, though, is that if you pick too small of a gun, you're not going to have a great capacity. If you pick too small of a gun, you're not going to be able to shoot it that well. If you pick too large of a gun, you're going to be extremely uncomfortable. If you pick too large of a gun, people are going to notice that you're carrying more easily because of the imprint. So you have pros and cons to both sides here. It's something you need to figure out and work out for yourself. But all in all, I think that about wraps it up for this video. I mean, I don't know what else to say for you here. In the end, the three main qualities that you want to look for your concealed carry firearm simply boil down to capacity, caliber, and size of the gun. There are more things that you want to worry about. Of course, there are plenty more things. If you're going to conceal carry, you want to make sure you have a good belt. You want to make sure that the gun is reliable. You want to make sure your ammo is reliable. There's several other things that you also need to worry about. But when deciding at least your concealed carry firearm, I think these three pretty much sum it up very well. But of course, go ahead and do your own research. Don't just take my word for it. With that being said, y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell. When you hit that bell, hit all. And whether or not you agree with me, actually, I mean, who's going to disagree with me on this? Once again, guys, this is all a very subjective thing. You guys are going to have to decide what works best for you. If a full-size gun works best for you for carrying, carry a full-size gun. If a subcompact gun works best for you, carry a subcompact gun. But as long as you're able to actually train with the gun, as long as it has a decent capacity, and as long as it is not some extremely anemic, underpowered caliber, I think you'll do a lot better than most people would who do decide to, deal with those issues. But with that being said, y'all make sure to check out all my other videos. Y'all make sure to stay legal, stay safe, stay dangerous. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.